I'd like to say welcome to all of you to this reverse session with the Journalist Islam Awareness Week here in Mezzanine. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, you guys might be wondering what the heck am I saying, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, what the heck is that, the salami and bacon, what's the guy talking about, Assalamualaikum means, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh means, we'll kill you. No, it's not enough. Alright. No, I'm not talking about killing you. It's an Arabic phrase. Yeah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's an Arabic phrase. Basically, most Muslims, we used to each other, to greet each other. It's a greeting of peace. We say, may peace be upon you, may gracious and the blessings of Allah be upon you. So we basically, every day we meet other Muslims, we wish them for greatness. Alright. Okay, so basically we are actually people who love unity. We don't kill people. Don't worry. We don't kill people like you see on the Western media. We kill people. No, we don't kill people. We're the kind of people who love peace. We love people. We love unity. And we love you guys. Okay, Muslims, we love everyone on this earth. So don't worry. I'm not going to bite you guys. Okay, none of us are going to bite you guys. Alright? Okay, so today we're going to have a session with the Reverts. It's actually a great session. I guess it's probably one of my favorites since last year. This is my second year getting involved with Islam Awareness Week, and I pretty much think that this is one of the best sessions because we got an insight of being a Muslim from someone who was not a Muslim before, but now they are a Muslims. So we call them Reverts. Why Reverts? Because we believe that everyone was initially a Muslim, but somehow along the way they've forgotten that they're Muslims. This kind of story. Okay. So it's going to be a session where these speakers are going to answer a few questions that I'm going to ask them. First one is basically the perception about Islam that they're going to have before they become a Muslim. And secondly, I'm going to ask them is like, of all the religions that we have in this world, why Islam? Alright? And the third question I'm going to ask them is how does their life change after becoming a Muslim? What are the life-changing experiences that they've gone through after becoming Muslim? And the last one is like I would like them to have spreading, give some messages to the audiences. All right. Okay, so we have five Reverts this afternoon. We have Sean here, first one here, and then we have Daniel, and that lady over there with the pink scarf is Sophia, and then we have Anna in the middle. And then Sister Khadija right at the end. Alright. Okay. Is that alright if I sit down? Alright, cool. Okay, so before we moving on, alright, how we see Muslims nowadays in the media, they're like, we like to bomb people, we like to kill people, like George W. Bush always says, Muslims are terrorists. He didn't say terrorists, he said terrorists. I don't know why you pronounce terrorist as terrorist instead of terrorist. I don't know what's wrong with this English. Okay. Sean, before you become Muslim, I think you're not like you. How long have you become a Muslim? Yeah, you become a Muslim like 5 to 6 months? 5 to 6 months, yeah. Right. Okay, so before you become a Muslim, right, so you were born here in Australia? Yeah. Yeah, it's in Australia. Good stuff. Okay. Alright, so what are the perceptions that you have before you become a Muslim? The idea that you have about Islam?
I thought Islam was very foreign, and all I knew is that Muslims, they don't drink and they don't eat pork. That's all I was knowing before I became a Muslim.
You think I was a terrorist?
Before I became Muslim, all I knew was that Muslims, they didn't drink and they didn't eat pork. And for me, when I saw Muslims, and what I thought of Islam was it was very foreign, So, but I didn't know anything other than that.
So you don't think of them as terrorists?
I didn't think bad of them, but I saw the news like everyone else,
Alright, so how about you, Daniel? What kind of experience did you have with Islam before you became a Muslim?
Before I became a Muslim, my dealings with Islam or knowledge of Islam was pretty much nothing. I went to Christian and Catholic schools, just like most people in a Catholic or Christian schools, you learn maybe 5 minutes on other religions, 5 minutes on Buddhism, 5 minutes on Islam, 5 minutes on Zoroastrianism, things like this. Just a very brief capture, and it really was nothing, It's like eating a snack rather than a dinner. Yeah. I mean,
One you take the square, the other one take the Doritos.
yeah. Before I embraced Islam, I'd never met a Muslim. I'd never been around a Muslim that I knew of. I'd never been in an Islamic environment. I didn't understand anything about Islamic belief or concepts at all. Very little understanding of these things. In fact, on the news, it wasn't really even talked about in those days about Islam or Muslims or nothing. It was.
So did the media influence you about how you perceive about Islam?
No, I mean, I didn't even really see any news articles on Islam or Muslims or anything back in those days.
Right.
Obviously, more recently, there's lots of things. I mean, a lot of the times, Aussies come to me and they say, the perception of Islam and all this and the media and what's this and how does this work? And I say to them, brother, if it was like the media said, I'd be the first one running crazy in the street, running for my life, because honestly, the things we see on the TV, the perception is that everyone is out to kill you, And of course, we know the population of Muslims in the world is over 1 billion.
Yep.
And obviously, it doesn't take much logic to figure out that if 1 billion people wanted to hurt you, you'd be getting hurt pretty quickly. So the fact that everyone is safe, peaceful, around, even today, mashallah, no one's got any swords, it just goes to show that this is not the case. The perception of Islam is not the true perception.
Alright, alright, thanks, Angel. Okay, so Sophia, what do you have perception about Islam?
Before I became Muslim, I was too young to really acknowledge religion when 9/11 happened, things like that. I was in primary school, I was in like year 4. It doesn't affect you then. Luckily, I had really great parents who never were vicious against any particular religion.
Like Catholic before?
No, my parents were sort of open. My mum considers herself to be atheist. My dad was brought up by a Christian minister, ran away, became a Buddhist, ran away again, and sort of just kind of settled with himself inside his own peace. As I grew up at high school, I had friends who were Muslim, and they were just normal people. But I guess my perception of Muslims was that they were Arab women wore a scarf on their heads, and yeah, they didn't eat pork. That was it.
Okay, so Susanna, because for your information, more than half of Muslim population are from Asia, they're not Arab. That's just the common conception that we have, someone with non-Muslims. I in fact become Muslim. I thought when I was young, most Muslims are Arab. But when in fact it's more than half, like 60% of Muslims are actually from Asia. They look like me, they look like Arab. Alright, Susanna, what are the perception that you have about Islam before you become a Muslim?
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Before Islam, I hated Muslims. I'll be really honest. I remember when I was watching this 60 Minutes a few years back, and it was an Australian convert, and he was saying Islam will dominate the whole world. And right there, I was sitting with my dad on the couch saying, I hate Muslims.
Like paranoid or something?
Pardon?
Like paranoid or something?
Yeah, no, I was just was disgusted in what he was saying, because he was like, we're gonna take over the world. He was pretty much saying that, right? If you go on like YouTube, just type in 60 Minutes, and it'll be like an Australian convert saying that he's like all Muslims gonna dominate the world. So that was my first impression of Islam straight away. So I told my dad, I hope I never ever marry a Muslim. That's what I said. And then he's like, don't say that. Like, don't be rude. And I was like, alright. And then, from there, my mum's best friend actually converted to Islam when she was younger. She married a Muslim, and she was with him for a while, and then realised like the truth about Islam, alhamdulillah. And I got in contact with her a while ago, and just started asking questions. And she lives in Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, and she explains Islam so explicitly that it's so beautiful, that people are just so, misled by the media, and it's disgusting. Like, whenever I talk to my friends and I explain, like, what it actually means, they're like, wow, like, that actually means, like, the truth. And I was like, yeah, well, what do you think it means? We believe in one God, alhamdulillah. Like, yeah.
So, do you like have any religious background before you become a Muslim?
Yeah, I was Catholic.
Catholic,
So
right.
I'm Croatian background. My parents are from Croatia, and I grew up like going to the church, went to.
So basically, you have a
Yeah. I went to a Catholic school as well, but then I moved to just a public one. But when I went to a Catholic school in year 8, I didn't understand everyone was going to hell, and that's what we were saying. I remember I was, like, if we didn't wear the right uniform, we were like, you were disgraced. I'm like, why am I disgraced? You didn't teach me how to dress. Like,
right. Yeah.
it's disgusting. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we might ask for last perception that Miss Khadija had about Islam before she became a Muslim.
I'm from India, so my parents are Hindu Brahmins, which is the kind of traditional head of
Miss Khadija, can you bring the mic closer?
Closer?
Right. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. And I'm from India, and my family is Hindu Brahmin, and yeah, they're fairly strict, but they don't force us to do something. And my mother has always taught us the concept of God, but she never forced us to worship idols. She used to worship idols anyway, but she taught me the principles of Islam in a way, like don't lie, God is watching you, various other things. So it's very much into religion, and like, you see things in television like 9/11 and other things like Muslims are killing, and you have this terrorist and this Pakistan, it's very close to India. So so many things happening around us, but I always told my mom, like, and my mother always told me, like, if everyone wanted to kill you, you wouldn't have been alive. Simple. Because we have so many Muslims living next to us as a resident.
Right.
So we wouldn't have been alive.
So you never thought of them as a terrorist?
Never ever.
No. How about terrorists? No.
Not terrorists, but even though I didn't know much about Islam, but I was always having so many Muslim friends. I was attracted to Islam in any way. And I like the way they cover themselves, the way they used to pray, and fast and Ramadan. But the concept of being so rigid that we follow only one God and we don't follow anything else, that is something that stuck me, like, why are they so strong in their ideas? Whereas other religions are more welcoming, like, oh, it's okay if you follow any God, we can follow all gods, God is one. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for your perception that you gave about Islam before you embraced, before you became a Muslim. Yeah, we have a lot of perceptions. Some of them, like, you know nothing about Islam, like Mr. Daniel, you know nothing about Islam before you became a Muslim. We also have like people who are alright with Islam, you know, they're being accepting of everyone. And we also have like Miss Anna, she hates Muslims. Wow. It's kind of like extreme a little bit. Yeah, I was looking for that kind of answer. Yeah, that's what she gave me that one. Okay, so moving on to the next question. You know, like we have a lot of religions here, you know, in this world. You know, we have like Hinduism, Buddhism, we have Christianity, Judaism, we have Islam. You know, other religions are expanding as well. You know, like for example, like Taoism, Confucianism. Like we have one Confucianism center in Adelaide University. You know, somewhere right near the Student Center. You know, we would have the statue of Confucius there. You know, all the religions. You know, when we talk about religions are actually encouraging their embracer to become a better person. You know, no religion talks about killing anyone. Every religion talks about peace. You know, but of all the religions that you've gone through, you know, why embrace Islam? Okay, so Sean, why Islam?
Islam, because I was Catholic before, all through when I was a kid, until like an adult, but it didn't make sense. But still I was like hearing of God and like, pray sometimes when I needed something.
You did have a religious background before this, do you?
Yeah, but the Catholic thing I couldn't make sense. But I was like looking, I guess like one time just for answers, and you know, I used to go to church even when I was an adult. A few times it was like a bit weird, like still it didn't make sense to me. I didn't feel like heaps comfortable. And then I remembered my friends. I had some friends that were really friendly people. They were Muslim, and I just remember that they used to, the way they used to get around, their character was like so good, so friendly, everything. And then they never told me anything about Islam. But then I looked into the Quran myself, the translation, and I was so shocked because all the people I already knew. It was like Jesus and Abraham and Moses, and it was like this time it was like a bit like simple and believable story, and it just made sense. And from there, I just like tried to like learn more and more.
So basically, what captured you most is basically the story of the past prophets and stuff.
Because I was shocked, I didn't know anything about Islam. I saw people with beards and from India and from everywhere. I couldn't imagine that these people were like, they were even like believed in the same people as that. They knew about the same people even. And then, but it was just like, it made sense, you know? Because the Catholic thing was a bit, I couldn't make sense of that.
What are the things that you couldn't make sense in Catholic?
The three, the Trinity and the Holy Ghost and Mother Mary prayers and other things.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so about you, Dean? Well, what actually made you become a Muslim? About all the religions that you've been exposed to, I mean, why Islam?
Well, my story is a bit of a long one, but I'll just try to keep it brief. So, I actually learned about Islam from watching a documentary on television.
What's the name of the documentary?
Empires of Faith.
Empires of Faith.
Yeah, I think Ben Kingsley narrates it. It's a BBC documentary shown on SBS television. My choice to embrace Islam and move towards Islam wasn't a choice per se. It was a completely compelling direction, like a force. I felt like I could not have it any other way.
Okay.
Like, because once someone discovers the truth, their own truth, it can't be denied.
Yeah.
Like 1 + 1 = 2. You can come up with whatever argument you want, but the logic and the argument is sound and truthful, and you can prove the theory.
That's kind of like push you towards it.
Absolutely compelled me. So with my life and my childhood, I had read the Bible at a very young age of my own personal choice. And I read the whole book twice. I read it once in year 5, once in year 6. And honestly, it scared me a lot. Being a year 5 student reading the Bible, you know, God is going to judge you, heaven and hell, you know, it was very scary. But I read in this book about Musa alayhi salam, and there's particular passages where Moses alayhi salam talks about someone that's going to come after him. Someone that will come after him, and it says he'll be a bringer of peace, a bringer of mercy. And there's other verses where it talks about a prophet that will come and he won't speak words of his own. He won't have like, basically, he won't read or write. It says he will be an unlettered prophet. This is what it's written in the book. And of course, obviously in the book you read about Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, peace be upon him. And Jesus also says, someone will come after me. Someone will come after me. He doesn't, make any nonsense about it. It's not a cryptic code. He does definitely say this. So I waited for that person. My whole life I waited for that person. I look forward to this person arriving, Same as many Christians do, same as many Catholics do. And watching this documentary, I had realized, as you say, that he had already arrived. That he had already arrived, and he was Arab, and he didn't read or write, and he didn't speak English.
Matching the description.
Exactly. He wasn't Roman, he couldn't speak Latin, he couldn't deal with the Catholic Church at the time. He was a Bedouin, he was in the desert. So this is why I haven't heard of this man before. But his message is just as important as any other message. Just because it's not in a language of my own doesn't mean I can reject it. I know about racism, I know about intolerance. So I felt that this was why I hadn't heard about this message previous to that, and it was a compelling force. But I didn't know any Muslims. I didn't even know we had masjids in Adelaide. So I had a bit of a journey,
Okay.
I had to seek it out.
Right. Right. So you say you read the Bible twice?
Yeah, I read the Bible twice. I've read it a lot more than that. It was just when I read it when I was young. I sort of became a bit of a Bible scholar because I had realized that there were some changes and I wanted to know more. Certain things in Christianity and Catholicism really hurt my heart, like original sin. The concept where a baby is sinful and the baby needs to be clean, that if the baby dies before it goes through certain steps, like baptism, confirmation, communion, they regard it as basically being sinful. They won't let the baby be buried in the same graveyard as believers, These concepts really struck me as odd. And when I read the words of Isa alayhi salam, Jesus peace be upon him, he never talked about these things. So these things didn't make sense to me. So to rationalize that and try to understand it, I did more research on my own. And that's also what originally led me to deciding I couldn't trust the Bible. Because I had found too many changes, too many chapters that were different, passages removed.
So how long have you become a Muslim?
I embraced Islam over 8 years ago, but I watched a documentary about 11 years ago. I had a bit of a wait in between finding Muslims, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I searched and searched, but alhamdulillah.
Right, it's good to have you here.
Yeah, jazakallah khair.
Okay, so moving on to the sister Sophia. So what are the other religions? You know, why Islam?
Okay, so when I was younger, like I said, my mom was very open to a lot of other things in life, and she wasn't religious herself, but she didn't want me to be restricted by her views. I'm sure that was a really good attitude to have. But the only other view she knew was Christianity. Different types of it as well. So she sent me to do musicals with a Christian group. That was great. We did Godspell, which apparently was a story that you could sing like hippies, which was crazy. But it was a lot of fun. And then we went to Sunday school groups with different churches, because there are a lot of different Christian churches. Never towards Catholicism or the Greek Orthodox, more like the Lutheran and I don't even know what their names are. The ones near my house, basically. And so I always knew sort of the stories, and even in a public school they teach you the story of Christmas and Easter and all these things, because the teachers have their own views and they put them on you anyway. But as I became older and I met new people, my best friends were, like I said, they were either Roman Catholic or they were Greek Orthodox, and they were very different extremes from all the other Christianities. And so I would look into them, and I would always do my own research. I would always ask my friends, and if they didn't have answers, I'd look it up myself. I went to youth groups, and some of them really freaked me out, if I'm being honest, because there were times when they would be standing, and it would be that very typical American, they would hold hands and sway, and then some of them would start talking in tongues, and honestly, it gave me the chills. It rang alarm bells in my head, and I got out of there as fast as I could. People saying that God had talked to them directly, and that God had told them with His words, all these different things, and I'm just like, really? Really? That happened? And it was Jesus, and peace be upon Him, and astaghfirullah, the things I was saying freaked me out, basically. And I got to university, and I met a man who is now my husband. MashaAllah, the most beautiful man I've ever met in my life. He actually, he was Muslim. He was a young Muslim guy who was integrated with Australian society quite deeply. So he actually didn't have a lot of answers to my questions, so I had to go and seek them out myself. And I came to Islamic Awareness Week 2 years ago. Yep, 2 years ago. This exact conference, 2 years ago, I listened to a speech, and I still wasn't sold, and I was sort of walking away not having had my questions answered, and the brother who had given the speech ran out afterwards, and he says, do you want more information? Call this number. I'll send your name to this number. They will call you, and after that I got involved in becoming Muslim through classes, and I didn't know I was going to become Muslim at the time. I just thought I was getting more information, but Allah had a different plan, so that was wonderful.
Okay, thanks. Alright, Anna. Okay, how about you? You're from someone who hated Muslims, hated Islam. You know, what makes you become a Muslim?
I didn't really hate Muslims. I was just, okay, I'll be specific on what I hate. I hated men that dominated over, like, women, pretty much.
Right.
And that's what the media pretty much said. So I said I hate Muslim men, pretty much like that. Sorry brothers. But I pretty much said that, and then I got angry at the women because they're just oblivious to what is going on. That's just how I look at it. But I've now, alhamdulillah, I've come to know that I've met a lot of Muslims, alhamdulillah, and they're beautiful, like, in all their ways. And then I think they have more control than men sometimes with their problems in, like, marriages. Sorry, alhamdulillah. So why Islam? Pretty much, in a few words, it's the truth. Put it like that. Because it is. Everything it says is, there's no, like, beating around the bush around it or anything like that. It's just pretty much, like, explicit in what it says in the Quran and how it explains things, like, you know, how a baby is performed in the stomach, you know? Like, who can like right there.
Yeah, for someone who's illiterate, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was Catholic and I went to church and stuff, all like Christianity, what we do. Yeah. So I used to question why we're going to church if we're celebrating Jesus' death or Jesus' birth, but we're celebrating Easter or Christmas. And I was like, what is this coming? Why are there bunnies? Why are we with chocolate? You know, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, I was just asking questions, and then my grandparents and my parents were like, oh, it's just it's tradition. I'm not following tradition, it's a lie. Like what? No. So then I just searched and then read things in the Bible like not to be poor, women have to cover their heads, just like a lot of corruption is in the Bible, like stuff that people are just just read past it, think it's okay. No, it's not okay. Like if you really want to.
Like people are not practicing what's inside the Bible.
Pardon?
You mean people are not practicing what's inside the Bible?
Yeah, like that. But like my grandmother, she goes to church every week, like now. And I always question her. Like I try not to be like harsh or anything like that. I just say, what's your purpose of going to church? She's like God to see me. But the thing is that I've grown up in the Christian community and they all compete with each other. Of who goes to church? If you're not at church, oh, you're going to go to hell. Like that's just how their mentality is. If you talk to like an Orthodox or Christian or Roman Catholic, no matter what, they're just going to be like, because we've always done it, they've never learned anything different, and they're very stubborn in their way. They have more ego now because they weren't taught before. That's just how they are. Like you can't exactly change it. I never was taught before. But it's pretty much, if people want to find it, they will. It's up to them if they want to open their hearts and their minds into what is the truth. But it's up to them. You can't change anybody in what they want to believe.
Right, that's pretty long answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's alright. It's a very good one. People like to share the experience. It's good. Alright, so Miss Khadija, what makes you into Islam? You've been brought up in a Hindu Brahma, background. Why Islam?
Like I said, I've been very religious. Like I was very much connected to God since I was 5 or 4. Like I used to learn stories and the recitations and everything. Like when I was in class 6, I could recite the whole book. So for me, God was a very important part of my life. And I had big questions like, Mommy, like if every religion, like people following different religions have their own gods, don't they fight among themselves? Like God don't fight among themselves? How can you have so many gods? Why do you have to give? Because Hindus usually clean their gods before they worship them, the idols, and they have to put, anyway, the procedure they follow, worship. So I used to be like, can't God have a shower themselves? Why do you have to give them a shower? Why do you have to clean them? Can't they do it themselves, like they're almighty? So she used to be like, I can't answer all your questions. And that was a few things like, I was like, I need to know. Then Christianity attracted me because it's probably because it's something more promoted in the media and the way Jesus is portrayed. Like in television you have programs coming and he's portrayed very angelic, like, and he's like divine and like someone who's done so much for everyone and this and that. So I was interested in Christianity, and there was a time when I believed, like, I wanted to learn religion and I could believe in any religion which had prophets, someone who came to the truth. But for me, Islam was like, it's strange and I want to know why is it. Why are people so firm about some things? I wanted an answer for those. And one of my friends, she gave me a book called Prophetic Stories, and it was just fascinating initially. Like this happened, that happened, and we were just imagining like I was 15 when I read it. So I wanted to learn more. And then she suggested me to watch Peace TV. I think it was the initial days when the PCV came this Dawa channel, and I started watching Dr. Zakir Naik. So for me it was like, I was learning from basics, like what is the concept of God, not what people follow, but what's actually in the scriptures. So it was like from zero. It was very hard because no matter how much you try to learn something, but you still have a baggage of what you are or what you were. So no matter how much I tried, like I want to learn with a neutral mind, there are things like, oh my God, why more about Islam. It was like, there's a thing and there's a rational. There's nothing without a rational. There's a reasoning behind every single thing in your life and every single creation that exists. So probably I got all my answers in Islam. And that is true.
Right, an inspiring story. Okay, well, what I can sum up is basically, I mean, being a human, you know, we always search for the truth, you know, we're searching for who created us, we're searching for the ultimate truth, you know, in terms of our guidance in life, you know. I think that's part of nature in human being, you know, like what happened to you guys, you're always searching for truth, despite you already have a religion, you know, some of you have Catholic background, some of you have Hindu Burma, Hindu Brahman, is it? Brahman. Okay, Hindu Brahman background, you know, but you're still searching for something that is more solid, something more affirmed, that actually assures your life on this earth. Alright, so, and when we're talking about changing your belief system, you know, it's always a hard change, you know, you have to change your lifestyle, have to change, you know, how you dress, you know, for example, for the Muslim women, you have to wear hijab and all that kind of stuff. You know, you're changing how you believe, how you live your life, you know, your lifestyle. Basically, you're changing like 180 degrees. You're changing everything of your aspects of life. So the next question I'm going to ask you guys is like, you know, after being a Muslim, you know, journey to becoming Muslim is one thing, but what's happened? What is happening after you become a Muslim? What are the life-changing experiences that you guys have experienced so far after becoming a Muslim for a period of time? All right, so Sean, what is it that you've experienced after becoming Muslim for like 5 months and so on? Right.
I'm still experiencing new things, but my relationships with everyone has got much better.
Including your family members?
Especially my family. My mum's friends like this. I can't even explain how much things have improved. I'm much more happier, more peaceful. It's beautiful, you know, every day is just gets better. Every time I'm learning more, it's becoming more better. But I don't have words really, you know.
You're speechless, that.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Well, when you say speechless, like ultimate. Okay. All right. So moving on to Neil. So 8 years becoming a Muslim. What are the most, you know, life-changing experience, you know, after you become a Muslim? What are the kind of things that you face become Muslim in a good way or a bad way or whatever?
Okay. Well, you don't get any superhero powers.
Of course.
I met a man once and he just accepted Islam.
Right.
And he had a question for the Sheikh.
Yeah.
And the Sheikh said, I know what your question is. And he said, it's this.
Yeah.
And he said, you're right.
Okay.
He says, how long is it till I develop this awareness?
Okay.
And the Sheikh laughed at him. So there's no superpowers. But I guess inner peace is the easiest way that I can explain it. I mean, every soul, every human is born with a fitra.
Yeah.
So this is our essence, I guess you could say. And that's why before, brother, you said that we believe as Muslims that everyone is born into Islam.
Yeah.
Islam means submission to God. It doesn't mean submission to God as a Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Jew, Muslim, none of this. It just simply means a statement submitting to God, one that submits to God, one that says, hey, I'm actually not all powerful, there's someone more powerful out there than me. So we believe in this deeply, and we believe that if you don't have a religion, as in you don't have a path, you don't have a belief in God, you try to fill that fitra with things, like alcohol, drugs, love, relationships, partying, like an animal, you know. But of course there's only one thing that fits, and the thing that fits is belief. Islam. Belief in your Creator. So, mashallah, now I have this, and I've fought very hard my whole life to have that.
You don't need drug and alcohol anymore?
No, alhamdulillah. I mean, I grew up in Adelaide. I was born in Parappa Gardens. The first time I saw a swastika was in Parappa Gardens.
Yeah?
Yeah, I saw neo-Nazis running the streets trying to kill or hurt people, and lots of, you know, gangs that were basically of their own nationalities, trying to hurt other nationalities. And it's just mindless. It's just mindless. And we see often in the streets in Adelaide, even today in the city, we'll see people affected by drugs or alcohol in ways we can't even relate to because we're Muslim, but it's a poison inside the body, you know, poison is what the body contains. Now as a Muslim, when I finish work or when I'm walking just in a park, I hear the sweetness of the birds singing. I see the beautiful trees, and the wind comes across my face, and I just smile. Like it's just like magical, like the best time of my life, you know, because I'm sober to the beauty of the world around me. I'm no longer like blind to it.
Yeah.
I'm no longer.
Everything seems so prevalent.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. All the noises, all the sounds, all the sights and smells, even food, mashallah.
Yeah.
It's all come alive now, you know.
And the food's here, right?
Alhamdulillah. The food's great, mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
All right. So next one. So to Sister Sophia. Okay, what are the experiences that you have after becoming Muslim woman?
Okay, so my experiences are probably very similar to the brothers. My relationship with my families have changed, and it required work from me, a lot of work. But I had Islam to guide me, and because of that hard work and because of Allah, it means that my relationship with my family has improved. I know I'm a better example to my younger sister. I know she hesitates now, like she feels more self-conscious about certain actions that she takes because she knows I've made the decision not to take those actions ever again. Things like going out and staying out and just things that are so ingrained in Australian society, you don't even realise that they're taking this hold on you. It's so hard to escape until you find something like that Islam, and it just frees you from it, free to be yourself. My family are getting better. My dad accepted that I am a Muslim very quickly. I can pray in front of him, I'm comfortable with that. My mum and my sister are a little bit more slowly, but they just need the work, and in time I know that they've got hope as well. Yeah. I've changed the way I dress. Obviously I'm not wearing hijab right now, but a year ago, on a 27-degree day, not a year ago, sorry, 3 years ago, I'm like a day anything above 27, just like all the other girls down there, you know, short, singlet, everything like that. But now I'm more conscious of the fact that my body's actually for me, and Islam gave me that power. It's not for other people to look at and have a good time and just enjoy in their head. It's actually just for me and the people that I've chosen to share it with, and my family who raised me. Yeah, that's about it.
Alright, so next one, Susanna. What is it? Wow, how did your life change after becoming Muslim?
So anybody knows any Europeans or Croatians or Bosnians, not Bosnian Muslims, but other Bosnians or Serbians, we've always been around alcohol. That's a big thing. It's alcohol and partying. And that's a big thing in my family. Yeah, you're brought up pretty much. Like once you get born, you get straight into it.
Okay.
Like no, not drinking, but just like your role models are alcoholics.
Right.
That's what it is. So I was growing up, my grandparents are alcoholics. They still are, but you know, I don't think that is the purpose of life. Drinking to your stupid. Like, what is that? You know,
Right.
You're wasting it. I've just been growing up with like that kind of influences in my life. And so when they hear about that I'm covering, not drinking, not eating pork, not going out, they think I'm not living my life. Especially like my mum. My mum is so scared. That's a bad thing. Yeah, so the biggest change, is probably just covering. It's like, you know, we don't give it enough to women how hard it is to cover because it's a 40-degree heat. Yeah, why are you covering? It's boiling, you're sweating. I know that, but why are you doing it for? You know, you do it for a lot. Like that's the reason why you do it for. But you don't care, you get, you know, judgment, whatever, you know. But this is for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else, this is for me. You know, and I'm doing it for God. That's the reason why. So covering is probably a big one. And not going out. Alhamdulillah, I didn't go clubbing or anything like that, like a little bit, but I wasn't Muslim then. But I didn't like it. Women were treated like garbage. And I think that they're way more than what people say they are. And you know, you look at the media, look at whatever you want, but looking within yourself before you look at something else. Because if you don't value what's in yourself, nobody else is going to value you. So once you have pride and respect for yourself, then other people will respect you and what you do and how you live your life. Yeah.
Okay. Next one to Sister Khadija. So, what are the life-changing experience that you have after becoming Muslim?
Obviously, my upbringing upbringing was pretty much similar to what Islam offers. So the transition was not that hard for me. But I would say, as others mentioned, the relationship which you have with your family and with others, whether they're Muslims or non-Muslims, or is it a living thing or non-living thing? I mean, how you relate to God and how blessed we are, like once you realize what you came in the world for, and along with the blessing comes the responsibility. So I feel more responsible towards myself, towards my family, who are still non-Muslims, and yeah, it's just a hope and belief in your Creator that keeps you going through any situation and just keeps you moving all the time, no matter what happens.
Okay, thanks. Well, yeah, basically, being a Muslim does not mean that you have to leave your family behind, despite the different beliefs that you guys have, right? Yeah. And yeah, obviously you said everything that life is changing in a better way, right? Yep, definitely. Okay, so that was the last question. So right now is that we're gonna give a chance to all of you guys to maybe say a few more words to our brothers and sisters here, both Muslim and to the non-Muslims here. You know, yeah, I as a Muslim, I do think that this session is a very reviving session. You know, sometimes we are born Muslims, born Muslims, bringing up in a Muslim family, sometimes we kind of like taking advantage of this privilege that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that God has given to us. You know, we were born without having to search for it. You know, we were born, Allah immediately gives us this religion, this one true religion that you guys have to search for it, going through different religions, you know. And so, yeah, so last few words from each one of you to everyone that are here, and the audiences. Right, starting with you, Sean.
I want to say that Islam frees you, especially some Australians, quote-unquote Australians, and allows you to, gives you the chance to see things in a different light in regards to like alcohol and partying and all of this, all the fun things that I used to think were fun, is depressing. And now I'm having real fun, you know, halal fun, and that's the best.
Okay, so if there's one more thing I'd want to say, two more things actually, kind of on what brother was saying just before. So kind of saying, you guys don't know how good you have it, but I would never wish evil upon you, because consider yourself lucky that you knew your father growing up, because your mum didn't have to kick him out because he gave her black eyes because he was drunk all the time, or that your uncles have their full IQ. And the worst problem you have with your aunties is that sometimes they meddle too much, instead of them losing their minds and having to have guardians as adults legally, because they've become worse than children in terms of dependence. The second thing I would like to say is that, mental blank, but something else that's really important to me is the fact that when you do go outside and the wind does blow through your hair and you see the incredible rays of sunshine, that renews your faith more than anything. You know that has to have been created. There's no chance that something that beautiful, you being able to appreciate something that beautiful, and then you being able to acknowledge that you can appreciate these things. It doesn't happen by accident. Everything we have was put into place by Allah. It's just made everything so incredibly beautiful for us. And as someone who's come from a family who always taught me to stand up for what you believe in, stand up for what's right, that's something that's really important. Mum was the person getting arrested in the rainforest because she knew it was wrong to chop down those trees just to make room for paper mills, things like that. Islam is the way of life that teaches you to do that without you having to figure it out for years beforehand. It teaches you to stand up for the weak. It teaches you to always do what's right and to never force your religion upon someone else. And that's something that's really special about Islam. There's no evangelizing. You answer questions when they come to you. You don't force it upon people. And that is very unique and very beautiful.
Muslims are always like my first influences. went out clubbing. I grew up with a lot of Bosnians, so the only bit of Muslim they were was their name. That was it. They were just like us, like Croatians before, But you'd ask them, like you wouldn't even know that they're Muslim. That's how like bad they don't appreciate what they have. But it's like you have a diamond and nobody else has it, and you need to let it like shine within you and not put it under the rug. If you have something that you love as much, you should show it to other people, but not force it. Something beautiful should be cherished, not thrown away. People live their life, whole life, drinking alcohol, beating up their wife. I'm like, no, it's not. Why do you think it's the right way to go to make someone else's life feel miserable? Because they feel miserable about themselves. And Islam makes you appreciate what you have and like where you grew up. Like, yes, I'm Croatian, I appreciate what I have, and I appreciate that I'm Australian as well. That's something that some people don't even like their own nationality. Like, why? God gave you that. God made you, be born with that nationality for a reason, for you to appreciate it. Especially like with what your looks are. You have to love yourself and love what you look like. Obviously the media has a specific image of what you have to be, but God made you this way. God made you perfect. So why does the media have to tell you what you have to look like? You look the way you want to look, not what they say you want to look, how you're supposed to be. You look the way you love to be looked at. If you want to be looked at with respect, you'll get it. But if you want to be looked like, a hero, something hot, whatever, you walk down the street, that's fine. That's your choice though. But that's not mine. And that shouldn't be yours. You should want higher than that. You should want Jannah. You should want heaven. You should want what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to have. And it's right there, it's right in your hand, but it's up to you, everyone in the world, to fight for it and have an open hand and reach for it and grab it. It's right there. But it's at the end, it's all up to you if you want it that bad. And from what I've seen as a non-Muslim is that it's better to have Islam than anything else. You wouldn't want what I had before or what our Reverts had before, because it's nothing compared to the connection that you have with God. It's a direct connection. There's nothing more beautiful than God. I'm telling you that.
Three things, what for Muslims and what for non-Muslims. As brothers and sisters mentioned, like I hear from so many Muslims like who were born into like Muslim environment saying they don't value it much, but I rather see it as a test because you people have been blessed with something and it's a test for you how much you value it. Whereas for us, like who have to choose it or who have to run after it or who have to fight for it all their lives in the family, you can't make them understand. It's a test for us. So both ways it's a test. So it's simple, just trying to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's it. And for non-Muslims, there's so much complexity in all of the creation, like the universe, or every single thing that's happening around you, every single thing that you see. So just try and find out the reason and the rationale behind it, and at least look at the authentic scriptures and come to common terms and can't appreciate the differences.
Sorry. I wanted to get a verse from the Quran, so please forgive me. So I'm going to read a passage from the Quran. It's going to be in English, so don't worry, everyone will be able to understand it, inshallah. So this is a passage from Surah Al-Nisa, and it's ayat number 135. It's in all the Qurans. If you any Quran in the world, you go to get to this. So it starts. O you who have believed, be consistently standing firm in justice. Witness for Allah, even if it be against yourselves or your parents and relatives. Whether one is rich or poor, Allah, God Almighty, is more worthy of both. So follow not personal inclination, lest you not be just. And if you distort your testimony or refuse to give it, then indeed Allah is more with any deed, Allah is ever with what you do acquainted. Now this is an ayat from the Quran. This actual ayat is posted at the Harvard School of Law in America. It's posted on their wall. And they describe it as the most eloquent reference or explanation of the word justice and the concept of justice that exists. This book, the Quran, as we know, was revealed to an unlettered person. This is a fact. This man existed in recorded history. We can look up the facts of this. We believe, obviously, this is a divine word of God. When we use the word Allah, it means God Almighty. It's not a different God. Allah is God. The Christian's God is Allah. The Jewish God is Allah. Oftentimes in the media you hear this term Sharia law, and everyone runs and hides. Very scary. That verse there is Sharia law. That's what it's talking about. Sharia law in its simplest fashion is the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments that were revealed to Moses. If I say the Ten Commandments, everyone's like, yeah, I get you. But if I say Sharia law, everyone's scared. It doesn't need to be like that. They're one and the same. So if I could leave with one little thing, is just the accessibility of this. The book is around. Please consult one of these brothers, inshallah, if anyone's interested in reading some more. Islam is very much a religion which is about the self. You can learn as much as you want to, but everyone has to have knowledge to practice this religion. Other religions is a kind of religion where it's about ignorance. You're not supposed to ask too many questions. You're not supposed to read the book yourself. Islam's the complete opposite. It's about empowering people, it's about empowering women, it's about empowering humanity. I wouldn't have anything to do with this religion if it didn't deal justly with women and children, if it didn't give rights to my Muslim sisters. I grew up in a household where my sister and my mother pretty much raised me. If I had anything to do like that, I'd have nothing about it. I'd be the first yelling at you all today. Jazakallah khair.
Alright, okay. So with that, we're sort of like ended our session for today. Okay, so Jazakumullah khairan to all of you, brothers and sisters, for sharing all your precious experiences on a journey becoming Muslim, and how Islam actually changed your life in a good way, of course. Okay, so yeah, and that's the end of our session. All right. So for everyone else, the Islam Awareness Week will go on for today until around 4 o'clock and until 3 o'clock. Sorry, and then tomorrow we don't have any events, but we'll be organizing a talk on Friday at the Brax Theater. So yeah, enjoy stay here at Islam Awareness Week. If you have any questions, you can maybe I continue asking all these brothers and sisters in front here later on after this, or maybe all volunteers or any Muslims that we have here. If you haven't grabbed the copy of the Quran, you can get it over there. Thank you, and see you guys around here.